Welcome back. We're continuing on with our Idaho Woodcarvers Guild conversations. This morning we're having a chat with Don Brigham. I'm Eric Owens with the Idaho Woodcarvers Guild, coming to you live from Don's house down in Garden City, Idaho. We're going to talk to Don a little bit because Don is one of our premier members. Don has been around for a long time in the club. He was here at the beginning of the club in 1980, so I want to hear him tell that story. But I want to just turn it over to Don and let him say and tell his story and do his part and let us in his world. So Don, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been carving since 1938. My grandfather got me started. Through high school, I probably did one carving. There was other things that were around. But as soon as Nan and I got married, I went back to carving. And I would guess I spend 20 hours a week carving, maybe more. I've changed from figure carving to bird carving to fish carving. And I do probably more chip carving now than anything. But I'm a firm believer that you got to do all kinds of carving to keep from getting carpal tunnel and some of that other. We've got 3 or 4 carvers in the club that had to quit because they did the same type of carving day in and day out. So that's where I am. And I flat out enjoy having a knife in my hand and a block of wood.
Or foam now.
Oh, the foam? Oh, yeah. I thought you said foam. Oh, yeah. I have foam all over. In fact, there's a sack of eggs behind me. Yeah.
You've gotten into that lately.
Yeah, and it's another reason why I like it is because it's so easy.
Right.
You don't have to push any pressure or anything to carve it.
What's it called? High density foam or
high density foam?
High density foam.
Yep. And mainly my foam is all little eggs or big eggs, but you can carve Santas, rabbits, whatever you want out of it. And I have a book that's called Animal Carving Out of Eggs, and it was made to do out of basswood eggs, but it works out of high density foam better.
So while we were chatting before I filmed, you showed a carving, one of your earliest carvings.
Yeah.
You want to show that again to the camera?
Little climbing monkey. 1942. Does it show up?
Yeah, it shows up well.
Yeah.
So is that what you call your first serious carving, or is there something more that you would call?
No, that's my first carving.
First carving? So
yeah. Beyond that, I have 2 more carvings that I know where they're at, but I don't have them. One my oldest son has, and it's a flamingo. And the other one is a gazelle made out of walnuts about that big. Doug, my youngest one, has it someplace.
And that's where you seriously started carving from then.
Yeah.
And you've been going for that whole time.
Yeah. We got married 55, and the flamingo was made out of wood from the crate that they shipped our first freezer to us after we got married.
The original pallet wood carving, right?
Yeah. But someday I'm going to talk him into giving it back to me, but
when he's done with it.
I got too many things on display around here as it is. So.
Well, I see quite a bit of stuff you've got here. Gnomes and dolphins and birds. You said you've done a lot of birds lately.
Yeah.
And I think our viewers can see them right up here as a cedar waxwing. And then you've got other carvings over here.
Oh, yeah. Here's another cedar waxwing that's all carved. That obviously isn't painted.
Right.
And what is this? Oh, this is one that's got to have a lot of work done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got something coming out of its eyes.
Well, yeah. Then there's a goldfish.
Nice.
Yeah. I keep doing all kinds of things.
You do a lot of birds because you've got a nice place to carve here. I'm jealous.
And there's a chip carved fish for you.
I remember that class.
Yep. That was a good class.
I'm going to turn the camera a little bit so our viewers can see where your carving place is, because I'm not sure many of them have been here.
No.
This looks out on your area where you do a lot of bird watching.
Yeah. I'm over in the corner by the black chairs, my dust collector and stuff, so I can power carve. The kids just brought this chair over for me.
And Nan is in the corner knitting.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Nan.
Yeah.
But you've got quite a place to carve. A lot of natural lighting here.
Yeah.
So if
You just missed, one squirrel just jumped across the backyard, and then there's a nest, and you can't see the nest.
back behind you.
It's too far, but it's way over on the border. But
Right.
they evidently have just had the little ones hatch, because two birds are flying in there constantly and evidently feeding them. So
Back and forth. So when you first started carving, were you trying to be like a particular carver, or were you aiming for one particular genre, or
just making chips.
is that taking wood and doing something with it?
Yep.
So you early on, did you have any kind of heroes or carving gurus that you were listening to or you were going towards?
The only one that when I first started was Ben Hunt. I don't know if you've seen any of his books, but he was the one that did a lot of neckerchief slides and stuff from Boy Scouts.
Yep.
During World War II, I carved a copy of every U.S. airplane, and I wished I still had them, but
Where are they?
when I got married and left, Mother just sold the house as it was and moved to Arizona, and everything. Yeah. A lot of people laughed because I carved everything with a knife. It was, oh gosh, even after I started the club, before I got any chisels.
Just a knife carver.
Just knife.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. In fact, I still probably do 70, maybe 80% of my carving with a knife. I got the chisels. There's some sitting there, and there's a toolbox over there that got more carving tools in it than Woodcraft has.
More than you can use in a lifetime, huh?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So you showed a couple birds you were doing there. Where do you get your carving inspiration? Where do those ideas come from? You're not, because I see what you're doing, and you're not just copying somebody else.
No, I don't think so. I just look around. I do get wood carving illustrated, and there are ideas in there. My Santa Clauses are all done from roughouts anymore, just to save my hand.
Sure.
They've got good part of it done.
You should put some of your carvings in the wood carving illustrated.
Yeah, I sent them an article. I'm trying to get them to teach people to do different types of carving so they don't get carpal tunnel, and you know, the fact that they need to get up when they're carving and quit of just sitting all day. They got to exercise the rest of their body.
Right.
And,
So let's go back to 1980.
okay.
That's when you and Ted Smith, the bird carver
Yeah,
from
there were two other involved in it, and I don't know their names anymore. But somebody, one of the other carvers that I don't know their name, ran an ad in the Statesman for those that are interested in woodworking, wood carving, gourds, and I would guess, and I don't know where we met, but there were probably 40 people that showed up, and
to that first meeting.
In that first meeting, and all kinds, furniture makers, antique tool collectors. I mean, it was a conglomerate if you ever saw one. And they asked for volunteers to get a club of some kind going. And Ted volunteered and I volunteered. And then they said, well, we're going to meet. And so I said, well, I got a good shop at Lowell Scott that would work out real nice. I'll ask the school if we could meet there. Of course, there was no objection from the school whatsoever. So we started meeting out there, and it went on for a little bit, and then the gourd people broke off and did their own carving, and scroll sawers went their way, and we eventually just ended up, it was wood carvers. I was trying to think of one of the guys that works out in woodcraft, and he's a wood turner, and he took the wood turners, and can't think of the name of the material, started that. So we've since broke off, and everybody has their own club.
Including the CNC group, I think.
Yeah. But I think pretty much we've maintained a pretty dang good, well, up until this virus stepped in. We lost everything then, actually. I think you do a Zoom program, but I don't know how to do that. So I just sit and do my own carving.
So you talked about 40 people coming at the first meeting.
Yeah.
And then eventually split off, had a few dozen people. How do you think the club has changed over the years in terms of the focus or in terms of its activities?
Well,
for the good or bad, whatever that is.
Yeah, we've really had some good carvers that helped us. We had Cleve and Vic Otto and Gene Fuller. But we also, Vic and Cleve organized a carving group at Twin Falls where they brought in some of the top carvers from the nation to teach us classes.
The old jamboree.
Yeah, at Twin Falls. I went to college, and I got carvings from a lot of top carvers that, because I went to that class for, oh gosh, 6, 7, maybe 8 years. The only one we didn't get there was Jerry Shimmelchek. Didn't. He was come later.
Simchuk, Jerry Simchuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We carved together. In fact, the wood duck over there in the corner, Ted taught a class on bird carving, and we did that. And Jerry was there, and I was there, and a couple of ladies, and I don't know where they went. But Jerry stayed with birds, and I went to Santa Claus's. Yeah, but we've had a lot of good carvers, a lot of fun. I think you probably have to classify most wood carvers as the most agreeable people around.
For the most part, I'd agree with that, yeah.
They just, everybody will help you do whatever you want. I hope that we can get this virus back so we can start meeting again with.
Let's hope so. So you talked about the Jamboree down in Twin Falls.
Yes.
What about the show that was here, had it several places like Karcher Mall and Center on the Grove?
Yeah, we did those. Karcher was our first one, and that was real fun to do the carvings. We were in the hallway. Everybody set up at their own table, and people just walk by and stop and visit with you.
What was the point of that show?
Just advertise carving.
Wasn't competitions?
No, one time we started out with competition, and the guy from Seattle, and I wish I could give you his name. He has since passed away, but he came and just casually judged everybody's and told them where they could improve or this and that. And at that time, it was all character carving. There was no bird carving, no fish carving, and anything, just character carving.
That was the focus at the time.
Yeah.
But then it kind of moved around a little bit. I remember one of the years we had a much smaller show at the MK Nature Center.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah, I was hoping that being it was out in fresh air, we might get back to the Nature Center again this year, but I haven't even called Doug to find out if he's doing anything now.
Well, there was one year when they had a display of wood carvings inside the building.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was a show or just a display demo.
It was just display stuff. The guy that was, I don't know whether you'd call him secretary or whatever, but anyway, he run the commercial part that was in there, the store part, and he was a wood carver. And he kind of got us, and then Doug and I and somebody else set up a tent outside, and we had a good time, and a lot of people came to the open house.
That's during the Migratory Bird Day. Is that
Yeah.
when it is, May sometime?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I, don't know whether we'll do that anymore or not. But
Hope so.
yeah, well, there's a lot of things. Artistry and wood would be nice if we could get it back.
Going to have a demonstration of display at the expo in September, and then we're back in April of next year. So is there a carve? I see a lot of carvings. I'm looking across over there.
Oh,
where
they're
you've got
all over
carvings,
the
and I saw some as I come to the house. Is there a carving you haven't done that you really wanted to do? A type or a specific? I mean, have you ever wanted to carve an Abe Lincoln or?
No, but there's an interesting one in here that I'm thinking about doing. Do you know anything about what they call that thing where you got a continuous circle?
Mobius strip.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
There's one in here that tells you how to do that. And I'm really seriously thinking about it because it gives real good directions.
Yes.
as to how to do it. But
I cut one out for Tekla, and she wants me to cut her another one.
yeah, yeah, they're kind of different.
So of all the things you carved, why would you gravitate towards a Mobius strip?
Just because I haven't done it.
It never goes something you haven't done before.
Yeah, I've done a lot of chip carving. You look around, especially out there, you'll find fish and birds and characters.
You've done a little bit of everything.
I've tried it.
At least once or twice, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Santa Clauses is probably the big thing. Last fall, Dean and Faith mailed out 31 of my Santa Clauses to
Really?
different relatives and
Ones that you had done in the last year? Or?
no, over the time.
Yeah.
They've just gathered too much space up in the shelf in the garage, so we unloaded them.
I have a sign on my wall that says, I'm a Santa collector. I think you've got me beat.
Yeah.
By some several magnitudes. So, why do you carve? I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. Why do you still carve?
Because it's relaxing, it's entertaining. I don't know. Why else?
Give away a lot as gifts,
Oh, yeah.
so you don't have to run to Walmart and buy them something from China?
For, about 25 years, maybe a dash longer, I did Christmas bazaars. And
The one at Eagle you did.
yeah, for years.
Mm-hmm.
And that got to the point where it was nothing but work on inventory all year round. And it took the joy out of carving.
My friend Steve says it when it turns into a job, I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, that's just what it turned into. So I haven't done a bazaar for I don't know how long, and don't intend to do one.
You have an interesting story about one of the first years you were there. I'll jog your memory. The guy that was selling wreaths and couldn't keep them. He had so many wreaths, and he was just selling them right, left, and center.
Oh,
And they were made out of
horse manure, road apples.
I was going to say road apples, but
Yeah, well, that was beyond. I just couldn't believe he was selling those things like I don't know what.
So tell the story. He's making wreaths.
Yeah, out of road apples, and he evidently had a source for the lot of road apples because he was. I would guess at the bazaar he unloaded maybe 150 or 200 wreaths. Just, and the rest of us. Do you know Tony Smart?
Tony Smart, yeah.
Him and I had a booth together that year, and I think between the two of us we sold 2 carvings, and this guy was selling road apples. Making a killing.
It was your statement, though, at the end. You said, we walked away. We said, at least, you remember that? At least our carvings aren't covered in
Yeah, they are.
covered in manure. Didn't sell any, but they weren't covered in manure.
That was one heck of a bazaar. And since that time, the bazaars highly improved.
Yeah, they've gotten large.
Yeah.
So you did that bazaar. Did you ever do the one in Nampa or the one at the
I did
fairgrounds?
The one at the fairgrounds I did 1 year. And somebody else. Who was the chip carver?
Okay.
No, a boy, man. He passed away.
Miles Lund.
Miles and I did it together. And people weren't ready for chip carving.
Had to educate him yet.
Yep. We did educate a whole bunch of school kids once in chip carving. We bought a bunch of ivory soap and had the kids do chip carving in ivory soap. I think that was a 4th grade class. And I can't even tell you what school we did it at anymore. Miles has been gone a long time.
Yeah, I don't know the day. I don't remember the day.
I'm not coming up.
He was getting out of carving as I was getting in, so that's been 12 years, maybe 10 years more.
Got a couple beautiful chip carvings out there on the table. I'll show you.
Formerly,
they're done in plates. That's what
right.
They're easiest to do in plates. Oh. Yeah. But you got to keep busy.
Don't sit around and watch Oprah all the time.
Oh, we only watch the news. They're just, the rest of it is, we used to watch Outdoor Idaho, but obviously that's no longer. So. No. So she sits over there and plays with yarn and I carve.
Not sure if you can see much of that, but this is where Don does his carvings. You see when he said Santa carver, he wasn't exaggerating. There are Santas here, and there are Santas, I'm not sure if I can show them back here in the corner very well. There's more of them back there. There's more right there. Picture of Grandpa with great-granddaughter. There's more carvings. And as I just scroll around, there are carvings everywhere. All the birds up there. Is this a peregrine falcon you're working on over here?
Yeah. And I've got a halfway in the process.
And there's carving sitting down here waiting to be done.
Oh yeah.
And more in the box. And out the window. And what everybody really wants to see is Don's carving box. With all his tools.
Yeah. There's a pile of tools there.
There's even a bucket of them laying behind his chair.
This is a real complicated.
Yeah, it looks like I'd run screaming.
And the other one is a lot of snow. Here's a phone. I don't know what it is. Oh, it is a Santa.
Let me get you in the camera there. Got a little Santa going on.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
That's carved in the early 50s anyway.
That one right there is? That African head there?
Yep.
Couple more of yours here.
Yeah, those are both mine. Then lately I've been doing wood burning plaques or carved plaques.
Oh, just start in one corner and work my way around.
Oh yeah.
Are these the ones that mean the most to you? Is that why they're
Yeah, pretty much so.
behind glass? And picture of the gentleman in the Navy.
That's Nan's uncle. submarine war commander.
And some of your awards here.
Yeah, probably.
And carvings. And more carvings.
Oh yeah, I got carvings all over.
This is yours too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that carving. I'm gonna do another one. I turned it black on the 2 rabbits. These were done by my grandfather. Oh.
The horses on the cart.
Yep. Over there, more carvings. Mr. and Mrs. Tomke.
Mm-hmm. The egg up there.
Yep. It's hollow.
Right. Have you done any of these?
Oh, those are mine. I know how to hurt you. Yeah. This one's mine. This one's mine. That one's mine. That one's mine. And lots of people have given me crosses.
Right.
I have a friend that was a missionary in Papua New Guinea. She knew I liked crosses, and she looked all over. She even spent a vacation weekend in Australia and couldn't find it. She went back and complained to the pastor that she couldn't find one. She carved this one. Boy, I do like it. It's had it made out of hardwood of some kind from over in those islands. Yeah.
The magpie up here, is that yours?
Oh,
Or the oriole? Robin?
yeah. Just a minute, I'll be there. And the swan's mine. Is that a robin?
Yeah. Get dialed in. I don't know where I
The
can.
other one's a celebrate.
There we go.
Yep.
We're back in the carving room. Don has told us his life story.
Yeah.
From carving to carving. What do you want to say to your viewers out there?
They need a hobby, and carving is the best one. You can't make a life out of watching the idiot box. It just won't work.
You've made quite a life here.
Oh yeah.
Fish, ducks, crosses, birds.
He made
Santas.
this room too.
He built this room?
Yeah.
Well, I designed it.
Well, oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Then the Garden City said, no, you have to have an architect draw up the plans. And when they got through, this was a concrete slab. And I had to dig under the edge all the way around and put 2-foot wide footing down there and an 8-inch wall up to the top. And I said, no, get a contractor. And he did a nice job. And Dean did all the sheetrock work inside. And then the one skylight leaked, and that's what that is. If I get that repaired, he'd have to repaint the whole inside. So I said, well, we just say that's my spider web hole.
There you go. Let him in and out. Well, I appreciate you letting me come and talk to you. Nan, thank you for letting me in your house.
Oh, I'm glad too.
Nice to hear you tell your story.
We could get all the carvers we want. It'd be nice if we could start meeting again so we could help beginners out, because we had quite a little bit of instruction going with beginners there until the virus hit, and then boom.
Is that what's important, is getting more beginners in?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got to have a good hobby. And actually, that's probably the cheapest hobby you can get into, unless you're a tool collector like I am. Then maybe it's not so cheap, but
Or you can make art out of every leaf and rock and tree and limb and out here.
yeah. And you don't need a big file. You can get by with a couple good chisels and a good knife.
As you say that, I see your box over there with like 50 or 60 tools in it.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're a collector.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. There are worse things to collect.
Oh, yes.
Gotcha.
And in my case, I really don't. Because when I quit carving, Tara gets the tools. And Tara likes to carve. Right now, she doesn't have it. In fact, because she's in control of the virus at St. Luke's and Meridian. And when she comes home, she said, a lot of nights I don't even take supper. I just conk out in bed. It's just really hard on her.
Hopefully soon we'll be over it.
Well, what were we up to yesterday on the news? 70% of the people have now got both shots. And once we get that number up a little higher, then we can start doing it. And they've opened up. They're going to have a potluck at the clubhouse again, because they think enough people in here have got both shots, so we can have a party again.
That's what it's about, the people connection.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than making a piece of wood look like something. It's the connection with people.
That's what you got to do. People love it.
You've met a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
You've taught a lot of people.
Yeah,
You've helped a lot of people.
Yeah, I keep helping. I have a lady that comes in and does our housekeeping for us. And she just walks around. She says, I don't know how you get it all done. The last time when she was here on Wednesday, I said, well, I knew you were coming today, so I didn't even put my apron on. I just let the chips fall on the floor.
Well, on behalf of all those who you have helped, thank you very much.
Well, I hope I've helped it enough that it's been worthwhile.
That's all you can ask for.
That's basically it.